So, are you guys ready for a new Battlefield game every single year to shell out $60, $70, $80, however much EA ask of you every single year in order to have the latest Battlefield experience? Because apparently that is where EA's sights have been set. That is their end goal. They want to compete with Call of Duty and they want to be putting out a new Battlefield game every single year. It's not going to happen yet, it's not going to happen for a while, but that is what they're going for here. Obviously, you can probably tell by my tone, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I want to outline why I think this is a terrible idea for the Battlefield franchise, for us, and even for EA as well. So let's just get into this. As always, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that sub button. I will be bringing you guys plenty on Battlefield 6 and, you know, whatever Battlefield game maybe releases the year after that, I guess. So if that's something that you're looking for, feel free to hit the sub button. The majority of you guys who watch my videos actually aren't subscribed. You probably see these in your recommended section, so it really would mean the world if you could hit that sub button. And as always, thank you guys so much for your support. Okay, so first of all, let me just say that this is a rumor, this is conjecture to some degree. This is coming from a YouTube channel called SIFTD Games, and it's from a video called Are PlayStation's Prestige Games Now a Poor Strategy? And basically, this guy said that he spoke to Byron Bede, who is of course known for creating Call of Duty and creating Warzone, and is now working on Battlefield. He's the general manager of Battlefield. And this is what he had to say, and this is via Battlefield Bulletin. Here he's basically just written down an excerpt from the video, but I will link the full video if you guys want to hear this. And he says, General Manager of Battlefield, Byron Bede, told industry analyst Michael Patcher that EA wants Battlefield to be an annual title within 5 to 6 years. Their goal is 3 studios making Battlefield on a 3-year basis, so they can get to Battlefield annually. Patcher said. It's going to take 5 or 6 years before they get 2 in a row, so we're not going to get there for a while, but that's their plan. So it sounds like they want to go the Call of Duty route here, like they have, who is it, like Infinity Ward, they've got Treyarch, and all these different studios are each working on their own iteration of the Call of Duty world, the Call of Duty franchise, and then they stagger them and they put one out every year. That, it sounds like, is what Byron Bede here wants to bring into the Battlefield franchise. So we may be getting like a mainline Battlefield game, let's say this year, and then next year we could be getting like a Hardline 2 or a Bad Company 3 that may not even be made by DICE. Now, clearly I don't think that's going to happen next year. I'm just saying, like, in theory, that's what it would be like. As this guy states here, it's going to take some time to actually get these studios up to snuff to be able to create Battlefield games. But I have to say, I do not like the idea of this at all. We've all seen what happened with Call of Duty. They put out, you know, in my opinion at least, the same drivel every single year. I play the beta, you know, for Call of Duty each and every year I'm disappointed. I'm just playing the same game again and again. They throw in, you know, the odd sort of mechanic in there, like the Omni movement system that they put in for Black Ops 6, and it's kind of like, oh, come and check out our new thing. There's some new maps, there's some new weapons, but by and large, it's pretty much just the same game. When a new Battlefield game comes around, that to me is a much more of a special occasion. And it just really feels like what they're going for here is the same sort of money grab that Call of Duty has become synonymous with, you know, little innovation or excitement around it in general, just another Call of Duty game, and you as the consumer have to fork out another, what, $70, $80 just for the base version, and if you want to get the premium version, it's probably like 100, 110, 120, or even more than that in the future. Now, another worry, of course, is like, who would even make these games? At the moment, let's talk about Battlefield 6. We've had 4 studios working on it. So we have DICE, Stockholm of course, who are known for making the Battlefield games. Then we have Ripple Effect Studios, formerly DICE LA, who are also used to working on Battlefield games. They actually came in and started working on the CTE, the Community Test Initiative, for Battlefield 4. They did a lot of great work there. They also worked a lot on the Portal mode for Battlefield 2042. They've made some maps for 2042 as well, so they pretty much know what they're doing. They're also making the Battle Royale, I think, for Battlefield 6, so they're definitely a contender. But then we've got Criterion and Motive. And Motive are working on the single player. Criterion, I think, are mainly working on the vehicles. But I don't think it's fair to say that those 2 studios alone, or even together, could make a Battlefield game. I think they need DICE, or at least ripple effect in there. So then let's consider that we had all 4 of these studios together for 4 years cooking Battlefield 6, and we've gotten a good Battlefield game out of it. Okay, that's absolutely fantastic. But if they decide to go and divvy up all of these studios and say, okay, DICE Stockholm, you're going to make one game, and then Ripple Effect Studios, you're going to make another, and Motive, you're going to work on a third one, like, unless they do it in some strange way where there's like a single player only game, and it's not all the Battlefield games are going to be core Battlefield experiences, I just don't see how this can work. Unless, of course, they start to divvy up the talent from the studios and say, okay, you guys are going to go over to Motive or Criterion or something like that. You're going to help, like, making maps. You're going to help working on the design of the game. I think that sounds like a very inefficient way of doing things. I seriously don't think they would do that. But then again, EA are known for closing down studios, canning projects, and doing, you know, extremely radical things when it comes to creating games. So that's the main reason and thing that worries me here. I just don't think, like, we barely have the talent to make one good Battlefield game every 4 years. How on earth are you going to make 3 Battlefield games in 3 years, all in tandem with one another, and actually sell them? Now, maybe their plan here is just to have, like, the main Battlefield game, let's call it Battlefield 6, for argument's sake. They're going to support that, right? They're going to keep on bringing out seasons. They're going to have the Battle Royale running along with that. And then maybe there's some kind of a spin-off that's like, hey, if you want to buy this, you can. Let's think Battlefield Hardline, right? When BF4 came out, Hardline, it was the new Battlefield game, but it wasn't really like a mainline Battlefield game that was pushed really, really hard. It was more something in the interim between BF4 and BF1. There were a lot of people who played Hardline and were kind of like, it's not that great, and they went back to Battlefield 4, but a lot of people also enjoyed Hardline, and it was a decent game. And then, of course, Battlefield 1 came out, and that was like the proper next Battlefield game that everybody loved. And that was done in much the same way. We had Visceral Games actually making Battlefield Hardline, whilst DICE Stockholm were busy working on Battlefield 1. I think another really big reason outside of whether DICE and EA are even going to be capable of this in the future is that for us as consumers, every year, we have to fork out a bunch of cash. And not only that, but all of your cool accolades that you've worked towards, that you've earned in-game, are going to go away. Any of the skins that you've bought, any of the cosmetics, those are essentially going to go away as well, because now you get the new game and you have to start fresh. And those are 2 of the big reasons that I really just refuse to invest in Call of Duty. It's just the same game with the same problems. You know, the graphics, they don't really advance. Like, how far do games actually advance year upon year when we look at the graphical fidelity, when we look at the mechanics of the game, when we look at new tech that's coming in with graphics cards? It's not like night and day, right? But between Battlefield games, sure, if there's like 4 years between games, you can bet that the next game comes out. I mean, just look at Battlefield 6, right? It's got this crazy destruction. There is tech on offer here that wasn't seen in the past Battlefield games, or at least not to the same scale. And I think if you look at the difference between companies that make Call of Duty games and the level and the quality of Call of Duty, and then you look at companies like Rockstar Games, Naughty Dog, CD Projekt Red, right? Companies that take years and years and years to put out an experience, but when they do, my god, do they make waves in the gaming industry. And that is exactly what I want Battlefield to be. I don't feel like the Battlefield player base needs a new game every year, or even every 2 or even every 3 years. I mean, 2 years, I would say, absolute minimum amount of time between titles. I would be fine with 3 years. I think that's maybe a good middle ground. But honestly, even 4 years, it sounds like a lot of time. But if you're getting enough content for the Battlefield game and it's being well supported, you will find that there is a solid player base that will stick with it. Recently, we've seen a lot of talk about Battlefield 6 trying to copy Call of Duty, trying to please the Call of Duty fan base, the player base, and really reel them in. And for sure, EA are going after Call of Duty's massive audience, but in my opinion, Battlefield should be doing anything like antithetical to whatever Call of Duty is doing. They should be trying to be like whatever Call of Duty isn't, in order to capture the people who don't like Call of Duty and don't go over to those games, because, like I've stated, they just put out sort of the same experience year upon year. And I think if Battlefield are just trying to do the opposite of that and just follow suit with whatever Call of Duty is doing, that is definitely the wrong direction and the wrong decision. Or am I wrong, guys? I don't know. I would love for you all to chime in down below. If you think I'm absolutely full of it, let me know. Don't worry, I can take it. But this kind of worries me. Again, this is not like a 100% this is going to happen, but I can definitely believe this. Like, EA, you know that all they care about is money, and if they can get $70 out of us every year for a new Battlefield game, you can bet your bottom dollar that that's what they're going to try and do. And if you don't want to see Battlefield go that way, you don't want to see them farm you for maximum revenue, massive audience retention, at the cost of minimal fun, then let your voice be heard. Leave a comment down below, share this video with somebody if you agree with it. As always, leaving a like if you agree with the video is useful too. Subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield, and I will see you guys in the next one.